Hello all, welcome to the Web Application Pen Testing course at Pentester Academy. Now in this video, we continue with the different ways by which one can exploit file uploads in web applications. Now in this specific video, we will look at defeating checks which utilize the Get Imagesize function. So what is Get Imagesize? Well, as seen in previous videos, a lot of developers figured out that checking the MIME type etc. based on what the browser sends you is not a good idea. This was simply because the attacker can change all of these values. So what if one actually checked the file once it is uploaded and convinces oneself that this is actually a GIF file or an image file? Now, this is where a lot of them go ahead and use Get Image Size. Now, Get Image Size finds out the size of a given image and also sends back a ton of other attributes. Depending on what the developer wants to do, he can figure out the width, the height, the MIME type, and a couple of other interesting things. Now, why is this difficult to beat? Simply because even if you had double extensions allowed in PHP and on the web server, you would not be able to just rename a PHP file and beat this check. So let's go ahead and try this out. So you can go ahead and unzip the zip file provided below this video inside the var www file upload directory, and create a directory called uploads, and then ensure that the uploads directory is writable. Okay. Now let me show you an example. Let's create a workbench. So let me say meter workbench, and let me go ahead and copy out the simple backdoor program, share web shells php simple backdoor to the current directory. Let me then go ahead and copy simple backdoor to simple backdoor.php.jpg, or let's actually keep it easy, GIF. And now let me ensure that Apache allows double extensions with PHP. This can be done by going ahead to mods available php5.conf and ensuring that the dollar is removed. This ensures PHP will process double extension files. Time to restart Apache. There you go. Now if I go in here, click on file upload, and even if I go ahead and enable intercepts in burp, and upload the GIF file, and within burp, let's say I go ahead and change the image type, which is already changed to that. So I think pretty much we are ready. So let's just forward this, right? And if you notice, it basically tells us please upload a GIF file. Now the reason for this is very simple. We have an actual check here for the size of the image using Get Image Size, and if Get Image Size fails, because of course in this case this is a PHP file, it returns a false, and then the program tells you to upload a GIF file. So how do we beat such a case? Well, keep in mind that almost all image formats tend to support attaching meta information inside of it, which include comments and a bunch of other things. Now this is where we are going to take an absolutely perfect GIF file and go ahead and add PHP code in the comment section of the GIF image. Now keep in mind that when the PHP interpreter starts reading the file, all it's going to scan for is the open PHP execute and the close PHP execute tags, right? If it finds that in the file, it will happily execute what is inside. So let me go ahead. Let's first find a PHP file. Let's find a GIF file which we can actually use. So let me actually use action underscore back.gif, or pretty much any GIF file. I think this was copied before. So I'm going to go inside the Metasploit directory. Here is one of the GIF files. Honestly guys, any GIF file you can find on the system, okay? Doesn't really matter which one here. Now let me copy the GIF file to this directory. Oops. Now I want a utility which will allow me to add comments into this GIF file. To do that, install a utility which does not ship with backtrack by default called GIFsicle. Okay, I've already installed it. You can install it as well. Now we can actually use GIFsicle and add comments. Now inside the comments section, we can pretty much go ahead and add PHP statements, and you would see the difference. Actually, let me show you the difference before and after. So I'm running the strings command on action underscore back.gif. If you notice, just these three strings in here. Now let me actually use GIFsicle, and then here is my open PHP tag, here is my close PHP tag, and within here let me say echo hacked. Right, now GIFsicle can take in file as input, and the output file would be stored whatever you mentioned. So let's call it action underscore back.php.gif. There we go. Right, now if I actually do a strings action underscore back.php.gif, if you've noticed, our little string has been put inside the GIF file. Fantastic. Now let me actually go back and upload this file, which should pretty much happily upload. Oops, my mistake. The file is actually this one, action underscore back.php.gif, not the simple backdoor one. Okay, let me go back in here. Yep, I uploaded the wrong file. This is the one we need to upload. And there you go, right? The file seems to be uploaded. Let's actually go to the uploads directory. Here it is. So click on it. And if you notice, we get something in here. But if you notice, our string hacked is also in there, right? There you go. So which means PHP did execute this. Now let's actually go ahead and put in something useful inside the file. So let's actually put in simple-backdoor.php, this file. Now let's first strip all the new lines before we put it inside the comment section. So should be very simple to do that. Actually go in here and I'll give you an example first how to strip the new lines. You should use the tr utility and tell it to replace all new lines, let's say with a space, and then give it simple backdoor.php, and there you go, right? So now let me go back in here and basically execute this thing first and go ahead and use that for input. Okay, so now let me go ahead and run this, and now if I do a strings on the file, you notice that the entire backdoor has been inserted in there. Fantastic. Now let me go ahead and upload this file. I'll remove the previous one, though you could just pretty much rename it as well. So here we go. Click on file.html. Let's go in. Here is the file again. Click on upload. It's been happily uploaded. Let's go to the uploads directory. Hit this. And if you notice, we get our friendly little prompt in there. Let's copy this out as the argument to pass in. And there you go, right? Now pretty much this is as good as a web shell in your control. Fantastic, right? So this is how one can go ahead and evade the get image size check. In this case, we both had the whitelist as well as get image size. The only thing required was double extensions were allowed to work with PHP, which was this configuration, the one here below. Right, so I've also added all of these little statements in the presentation just so that you can very quickly use them as a cheat sheet. And as mentioned in other file upload demos, please download the arbitrary file upload vulnerable ISO from the link provided here and try out the different real-world applications with file upload vulnerabilities created by our team member Ashish. And if you enjoyed this video and are having fun at Pentester Academy, then we would really appreciate if you can recommend us to your friends and colleagues in the InfoSec community. Thank you.